Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my final words on the Atlantis is Richat story. You might ask what is going on here, and I'm going to explain everything. But very quickly, I do want to be quite transparent. I'm not done talking about Atlantis. I'm just done talking about it here on this personal channel. I'm going to make a lot of big changes, and I've already privatized all the content except for a couple videos that are actual money earners, but I'm going to change that too. I'm going to remove those. I'm not going to get rid of the content so quickly. I'll talk about that. I'm not going to delete it, but I have already uploaded my new content that I'm reproducing over here at Was This Atlantis. And I have a bunch of videos you can watch already. You can go subscribe. I only have 150 subscribers. It's not monetized. I have a connected Facebook page. I was going to play you the New Earth Diva song that I did before, but I think I'm just going to get started here with my final words on the Richat. And I am doing a live stream so people can interact and ask questions. Did I leave this? You know what? Let me double check something. I'm going to double check and see if I think it's down at the bottom here. Yeah, show how many viewers like this. What? Yeah, allow. I want the chat. We're talking about live chat. Live chat replay. Good. Yeah, that's good. It's all there. So I saved the chat replay. If anybody out there has any questions on this, apparently I do have one 3-second 3-second playback. That's nice. However, I do want to talk about first a little bit about how I got involved. Everybody knows Jimmy did the video at Bright Insights. Right away, I already knew about the Eye of Africa, and I really connected with this idea really quickly because I thought, wow, what an incredible. It's incredible that it's very similar and it's close. People say, oh, it's not close. No, I'll get into that. I'll get into all that. But I wasn't really embracing it as Atlantis as much as trying to give people a tour of the Richat structure itself. And I wanted to see the castles and what happened with them, but I just kept going and going and going. I had already been interested in the ancient civilization story, and we knew that something was amiss with the pyramids. Now I'm not going to say I know everything, but now I know so much more. So much more now. And another thing that I'm moving around the room, I don't know, I had to change the direction of the fan. It's Taipei, it's 3:44. There's going to be some more summer days, so I have the fans on me. Getting back to the story, things I need to talk about. Doing the. Let me make sure that. I guess I don't have any chats. Where's my chat? Why can't I chat? Can I chat? Let me see. I can't chat. That's very strange. I want to be able to chat. Why can't I chat? Toggle participants. I don't understand what's going on here. Why can I not chat? All right. Well, I'm going to solve that problem a little bit later. That's kind of weird, though. Wait a minute. No, I can't see. Okay, I don't want to waste time with the chatting, but if I can't chat, that means the other people can't chat. I think I made a mistake with editing my chat. Did I not allow chatting? Live chat. Enable. Allow. Live redirect. We don't want that. Monetization on. My final word on the Richat. Okay. I don't understand what happened, but it seems like I can't chat now. All right. Well, this is not about a high quality produced video. This is about me talking live stream, no script, talking about everything. If I could make sure people could ask me questions, I would. I don't understand what happened with that. One thing I can do, I saw. What happened? One thing I can do is I can toggle the chat out. Where is that? Now I can't even see it at all. Okay, this is very weird. Not acting good. Insert ad. Create a highlight video. That would be stupid. I got a weird noise. What's that? My drink? Oh, that was outside. And then the next thing is add stream marker, share. I'd like to share. Yeah, I'd like to share that. I'm going to share it right now. Sorry, don't mean to waste your time, but this isn't really about you. It's my final words. So I don't know why I can't see the chat. It's kind of bothering me that I can't see it. But I don't know, webcam, and I don't understand this. It's kind of weird, but I'm going to just go with it. I even just a minute ago had a menu I could click on and maybe open the chat up, and now it's not happening anymore. Okay, that's weird. Did I toggle it already? Let me try something else. I have some other ideas here. I mean, I don't really want to ignore. Okay, where's the chatting? I don't want to ignore my chatters. Okay, let me just show it on my live stream because this is kind of ruining my story here. But as you can see, there's no chat. So what I'm going to do real quick, very quickly. Oh, great. Let me just close some other stuff that I don't want to see here. Very quickly, I'm just going to open up a new YouTube and see if I can catch my live streams. And see if there's chatting there. Because I definitely wanted to open it up for chatters. And this is ridiculous. This is one of the problems, okay? This is one of the problems. I'm not going to do live streams on my other videos. I'm not doing them anymore. There's a couple reasons why. The main reason why is because YouTube is already messing up my content. But when I try to download a live stream and re-upload it, it comes down low quality. I'm sorry, I was doing something and let me just go to content. See if there's a live stream here and I can go in there and I can see the chatting there maybe. I got a like out of it. I'm not doing it anymore. I better turn off the sound. That'll drive. Okay, we got crack shot 322. See? See? Okay. See, this is ridiculous. This is one of the problems. I don't understand what happened to my chat. I think it has something to do with OBS. Maybe OBS took the chat. I use OBS, but anyways, we're done with that problem. I'm going to keep this over here. And this is going to be probably disappear that. This put over here. What's that? This is my presentation. I'll bring that back over here. Sorry about that, everybody. But like I said, this is not about everybody. This is about me. I'm going to give you a story here. And yeah, maybe I'll cut out later on if the irritating thing that just happened with the chats. And I'll cut that out later. We'll see. Let me know if there's any other problems. This is ridiculous. This is really ridiculous. Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that. Okay, I'm back. So let's move on with my story here. And luckily, I have the chats in view. Thank you for your comment, Thailand Paul and Crack Shot. And I can comment and say something too. Like, where's my chat? Didn't know what happened to it. I want to have the chat so people can ask questions. And if I have any trolls, I'll probably end up blocking them because this is one of the problems. Okay, let me make a quick statement about these live streams again. The live streams, they reduce the control you have. You don't have your ability to edit. One thing you do is if I do an edited production and I upload it, it takes me 20 hours. So I wanted live streams. I really did. I wanted live streams. But the problem with YouTube is it took these videos, like they kind of went viral. I kind of made some money in the beginning. But then suddenly they started to shadow ban me. And I think the reason why is because of my channel has a strange layout. I've got Taipei pictures, Taipei videos. I've got teaching English videos, my job here in Taiwan. I've got now recently my university live streams that I've had to do. So it's been a big problem. And then the other day, Jimmy comes on and says, "Hey, Stig, I'm going to do another video soon." And he got my hopes up that I was going to get maybe a shout out from him and a few more subscribers. But that's all over with because he put out a low quality video that, in my opinion, didn't give us any new information at all. He didn't really think about people like me, maybe, but his main fan base they didn't seem to care. I think he's almost got 1 million views on that video. But the question is, did he give us any new information? I think he kind of clickbaited us with the CIA stuff. And it's like, okay, what new information do we have? The bottom line about the Richat, let's go back to the picture. The bottom line about the Richat, I should have said this in the first 5 minutes, is if there was a civilization there, it was scrubbed. You see these mountain peaks? In my opinion, those mountain peaks were not the highest thing in the water. The water came up to here. If the water came up to here, these peaks would have been submerged. So if there was anything here, it was totally built up. And that's what we hear Plato talk about. These walls were silver. This wall was gold. And this wall was, actually, I think that this was that special metal they could make. And then this wall was gold. I have to look at what Plato wrote. So those 3 walls, we don't see anything here. Now, one thing I can agree that Jimmy mentioned, and I did, he played something from Randall Carlson. It was about that this place has been scrubbed. However, yeah, I think it's been scrubbed. I can get into this. We can talk about it more. I don't see any, in the Richat, I don't see any signs of 12,000-year-old civilizations, except for the canals, except for the possible, the canals and the kind of the layout, the way the water was, where the river is. That's megalithic. That's gigantic. But do I see any? I mean, I've shown a lot of antiquities over here, and those may have been there. There's some questions I have about that, and the possibility that it could have been connected to the structure that was here. Am I going to bet my life at this point that Atlantis was right here? I probably wouldn't bet my life. But am I going to bet big money that it was? Yeah. I was telling my story about how I got involved. Actually, the true story is my mother thinks that she lived in the time of Atlantis. She says that she had a previous life in Atlantis. She used to draw sketches of the city layout. I do recall those sketches. But I also soon forgot about Atlantis, and I started thinking more about megalithic structures like the pyramids, and I didn't care about ancient history at all until I started teaching international trade. When I started teaching international trade, I started to look at, yeah, there you are, or Ecliptic. Is it spelled with a K, though? More than, oh, hi, Ultra Picture Studios. More than just turning into rubble, they were washed away. They were scrubbed. I can tell you another reason why, and I'm going to. And I want to be honest about one more thing. This might be part 1 of my final words, because I'm ready to talk for 3 hours. And if I can't because something happens, maybe I get distracted, I will cut this and I will do part 2 within the next few days. I want to get this done. And this is going to stay on my channel for a while. And I will cut out the mistakes that happened. But live streams suck. And I'm tired of that. And on my new channel, by the way, did I talk about my new channel? On my new channel, please subscribe now. You can go there, youtube.com, Was This Atlantis. If you go to Was This Atlantis right here, you can see that it's already been branded. And that is the reason why I waited, because I wanted to make sure it was branded. I think I just hit, I just go to here and click Was, W, and it'll appear right there. So I do have this branded now. Thank you, YouTube. This video doesn't say much. This is kind of an introduction video. I got 160 views. That's good, but I only have 150. I only have 150 subscribers right now. Let me turn that off right now. There are some movies here that I did already. A lot of them are using old information, and a couple of them even have clips from old videos instead of me reproducing it. I'm going to gradually get rid of that and replace those videos with evergreen clicking videos. I'm going to only care about the Richat. Well, I won't say that. It's a prehistory channel. It's a channel about prehistory. So please subscribe. However, I'm monetized here. So I think that when I show you stuff like this, I'm doing you my older fans a favor of helping you know that I'm moving stuff, number one. But number two, giving my final words to people who may have subscribed to here and don't even realize that I'm not going to give final words over there. This presentation is going to get cut up and put over there. We pretty much have all the answers with Richat that we're going to get. Except I do believe another reason why you don't see any buildings is because that place was wrecked by a strike. And I'm going to show you how I think that. I've already shown it, but I'm going to show it for the last time. See, Jimmy apparently knew about me because he says, hey, Stig, you know, like he knows me. And then he never got back to me. So I prepared all this information for him. I was ready to give him everything. And I still am giving him everything in this form. But, you know, first of all, I don't want to talk about Jimmy. I want to talk about the information I'm giving. And he did do good things. And he did come up with one more point, which was that place was scrubbed. And the flooding and some other things, the strikes. Okay, I'm showing you this elongated skull because Brian Forrester was really my first. I knew about Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock, but I didn't really understand the connection. However, Brian Forrester, he was quite prominent because he did his YouTube videos. And I'm the type of guy who watches and learns from watching videos. And the megalithic machining was the main thing. As I mentioned, I wanted to learn about international trade history. So I started seeking out, well, what we know now is that international trade occurred between ancient civilizations that we've forgotten about. So international trade is quite old. And a maritime. Okay, now this picture I keep showing, it's not really related to anything, but it's one of those pictures that just makes you start questioning mainstream history. And the Cataclysm theory itself was a main thing. I've been doing Cataclysm videos on my channel since 2013 regarding Comet Ison and regarding other forms of cataclysm. This would be CME, coronal mass ejection, I guess. This is just something that I played with. Now, one thing we can ask ourselves about the history of the Richat is how did the Temple of Sais get the data that was carved on their walls in Egypt? The temple that the priests got their stories from, that they told to Solon. In addition to what's carved in the walls, there is a tradition, an oral tradition, and that oral tradition was much fresher back then. But how did it get on the Sais walls? Well, I think I have to agree with Graham Hancock the most. He taught me that it was the survivors of Atlantis. So the survivors are the ones that we're going to talk about. I did already do a video on my new channel about this. I'm going to go through it rather quickly, and you can go to my new channel. Instead of having clocks, we used the stars, and we connected our Earth with the stars through our understanding of the equinox, and we created structures. So when you ask me how old is the Sphinx, I can tell you it's at least, well, I think that the Sphinx is pointing at the equinox, and the equinox was occurring when? Do you think it was a dog? Well, the Canis Major is not on the ecliptic. So focus on the constellations that are on the ecliptic. I think that the Sphinx was the lion, Leo. And that means that Leo was in our skies. It's in our skies every night, but Leo was what I'm talking about is the age, and the age occurs when the sun rises in the constellation. So if the sun, and by the way, we're looking at the equinox right there. When that occurs, what constellation is right there? It's not Aquarius. We're not going to see Aquarius for 1,000 years. It's Pisces right now. We're in the age of Pisces. And that age, the age of the fish, you know, IXOCE, it's like the fish, the Christ symbol. That symbol is because of the age of Pisces. But before Christ, before the age of Pisces happened, the age of Leo happened about 12,000 years ago. And 12,000 years is certainly a lot older than the pyramids claim to be. We also have other things. That's Angkor Wat. I've been there twice. I've been there once. Although those are the solstices, but it's still a way to connect the earth with the heavens. So I'm not going to talk too much about this, but I am going to say that I did take this data, not from Stellarium. Well, yes, from Stellarium, and I measured the basically where's the ecliptic. The ecliptic is here, but we still would have to start there. Oh, what's that? That's a picture. I can see. I wonder what is that Andromeda right there? There's Cassiopeia right there, right? That could be Andromeda. Anyways, back on the story. This is where we are. No, this is not where we are. This is the birth of Christ right here. This is the beginning of the age. Right now, we're way up here where the moon is. We're way up here, and we're still in Pisces. We're going to leave Pisces, and then Aquarius is over here. But we're not out of Pisces yet. We're not in the age. We're not in the dawning of the age of Aquarius. We're in this age, the age of Pisces. Okay, I didn't want to mention this. I do want to talk about maps and timelines. I should probably remove this, but I use it for reference, and it's Uncharted X created this. And why reinvent the wheel? So share it. Uncharted X, I think he's good. This is from Randall Carlson. I think I've shown these before, but what I just want to mention is the Younger Dryas event happened. There's the line. When did this occur? I mean, there's got to be a specific year this happened. Maybe 10 years it healed, but then it started to be normal again, right? So during this time, we're at the very bottom of that. What happened? What year was that? Everybody thinks it's probably 12,000 years ago. And when I say everybody, I say Randall Carlson, so many people. Now, the Younger Dryas boundary doesn't include North Africa, which can mean two things. Number one, they haven't found it. They didn't search. The sand's on top of it. Or did it occur here and they found it in that part of Africa? Did it occur here? I'm just wondering because I don't really know, authentically don't know. So I know that maybe they should be looking in this area for the boundary to double check, make sure because there's a big gap right there. And maybe it could even curve out a little more, maybe come down here to these countries. But it is quite dangerous. And if you do go there, you're going to need to hire these guys. And you could be enslaved and you might be mining salt for the rest of your short life. So I don't know. But I do want to say that the Younger Dryas event, I guess that black line is right here. And this is years ago. And they say it happened right here, according to this. That maybe that's 12,000 years ago. The end of the boiling Allerod period was 13,000 years ago. So I'm not a scientist. I can't really talk too much, but I am wondering when the Ice Age actually ended, the exact year. I'd like to know exactly when that line. I'm not sure still after all these years of talking about it. And I know that when you see this Australian impact field, you get more confused. Don't be, that's almost 1 million years old. So, however, earlier I talked about the ages, and I do want to mention that not just the age of the calf, although it seems like we have the most information about that. The age of the calf, actually we still had another age between the calf, which is age of Aries, the age of Ram. This is a very special picture because it shows the dog lapping up the blood from the wound. And some people think that might be Pleiades, and this might be Canis Major. And something's got his junk, a scorpion. So yeah, you got to look at the map. I can tell you right now, this is kind of flipped in my knowledge of the space picture. I don't know. We could look at Stellarium later. Is the scorpion really over here? The dog is not looking in that direction. So I know that Pleiades this would be a mirror image of what we really see at night. At least this part. I'm pretty sure the Scorpio, I don't know. Maybe the people that did the sculpture didn't realize its connection with the... There's another place where people attack the age. They're saying don't idolize the calf. Well, they're not idolizing the calf because it's some random animal they can choose to idolize. It was because it was the age. And here's the ram. You see how someone broke that? Why did they break it? They probably broke it because they're saying, hey, we're in the the age of the Pisces now. I don't know. Seems like people are always picking on it. Look at this. This is a lion, and someone actually carved away and created a sphinx's head. Apparently, this is one of the oldest sphinxes that we know about. Now, if I'm wrong, then it's another one that's just like it, because this doesn't look like the one I remember seeing. I remember seeing another one. So maybe the idea was to memorialize the idea that the what do you call it? The age of Leo was broken up because nobody cared about the lion anymore. Or maybe the face legitimately broke off and it was broken and somebody said we need to do something else. Here's a video, and I can't remember the video right now. It's only 5 minutes long. Was it destroyed or did it decay? Well, I can tell you right now, everything you're looking at here is pretty much fake. This is fake. They covered that up with cement. They filled in the gaps. This is probably the most real part, but then again, I believe that was broken off and fixed. This has been covered up. That used to be bare limestone. I can show you photographs. Actually, there's one right here. But I'm not going to talk about the Sphinx. I was just talking about the ages. I'm more talking about the idea that people are willing to ignore megalithic structures and kind of ignore the fact that, and as Graham Hancock and others say, we're a species with amnesia. Robert Schoch was the one that said that the lines on the Sphinx were too old to be built during the this is where, okay, this is where that timeline needs to be for Uncharted X. Let me just get out of here and go back up and grab that, and I'm going to move it down. That Uncharted X timeline, like I said, I where was it? Somewhere down here. Here it is. I'm going to grab that. Now, by the way, where's my Cataclysm picture? Is it up here? The Cataclysm, I can move that later, but this one I'm going to move and put it right here. There we go. According to this, the Sphinx, I mean, they don't mention here. He mentions the pyramid building happened during, according to mainstream history. And by the way, if you notice, his title is The Improbable Timeline of the Old Kingdom Mega Pyramid Builders. But what he gave us is the Orthodox history of dynastic Egypt. So mainstream history. And he's giving that to us at face value. I kind of wonder what I missed. Is something here? So we've got early period, dynasty 1, 2, Old Kingdom 3, 4, 5, 6, first intermediate period 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, Middle Kingdom, dynasty 11 through 14. They're all there. And it shows according to mainstream history, the pyramids were built at this time. They also assume that the Sphinx was carved at the same time that the second pyramid was built, the Menkaure pyramid. Okay, that can be moved. Here is an actual chart that I created showing the true... Okay, another thing I failed to mention was that Aries... that's the other thing that I didn't show. I should have put this slide up here. I'm going to show it real quick. If you look at that picture here, you can see Aries right there. Well, Aries is a really short age. It's only 1,080 years. It's 10. No, this is 15 degrees. And each degree is 72 years. So when we have 72 years, we times 15, that comes out to 1080. And I wrote that here. That 1080 is not the shortest because Cancer is only 10 degrees. And that's only 720 total years. Now, Pisces is, if I take the Pisces information, I have to be careful because we have to include part of Pisces until now. Years ago includes most of Pisces. So I put in the numbers. Anyways, if we look back, I started from without Pisces here. You can see Pisces total. So that means it's kind of, I think I made a mistake. But look. Any mistake I made is just a few years off. Let's just take a look. So Pisces, going back to year 0, when Christ was born, then we had Aries. So I have to be careful here. There's something wrong with this. I should probably change this to 2021. That should have been changed. In fact, I think I did change that to 2021. This has a formula in it. So when I change one field, everything changes. So this would be 2021. So I've made a mistake of adding a few years. Pretend like you're looking at this at the end of Pisces in the year 2952, and then all the numbers will be perfect. So if that's 1,000 years, we can kind of reduce it about 1,000, about 850 years. So 850 years, that means Leo was around 11,100 years ago. That was the age. So if that would be when they built the Sphinx, if it were a lion. Now, of course, it was the year of the calf, right? How many years ago? We can look at the picture of the timeline that I just showed you. That was here, 2500 BC. So 3,500 years ago was when they fixed up the pyramid and they gave it to that one king, is it Menkaure? No, I'm sorry. It's a Khafre. No, we've got Khufu, we've got Khafre, we've got Menkaure. So I'm talking about the middle one, Khafre. And they say it's the face of Khafre on the Sphinx. So 3,500 years ago, that was here. It was still really Aries. It was still Aries. So it's kind of questionable, right? Is it really only the year of Aries? It was the very beginning of Aries, maybe. Oh, yeah, I have to take that time off. So it was Taurus. It was Taurus. But wait a minute. This is started and then it finished. So no, it would have been pretty much Aries still. So we really have to remember that when you calculate these ages, you can't just divide by 2160. You have to take into account that Aries was only 15 degrees. Now, Taurus was pretty big. It's got 39 degrees. So it's this, I think it's the second it's the second largest. I've got another chart here. I'll show you the other chart. I think I'm done talking about that. I just wanted to mention that when we talk about ages, we can't just divide by 21. Like, how many ages back was it? And divide by 21. You can't do that because Aries was only 1,080 years. I've got the chart here. This is, why do I have the second chart? Okay, there over here on the right. I guess what I did was I forgot to change that back. But here, this is the actual total lengths. So the total year, we have empty space. Don't forget that. 2664. Oh, well, the thing is that way deep inside, it's hi, R. Hammond. I'll look at your chat. It's a matter of kind of aligning how far back things happened with the history that we know, because the Bible says they were still okay. Again, we have to look at this, right? The Bible says they were still idolizing the calf when Moses came down from the mountain and said, "You can't idolize gods other than me." And that was the calf. So that was during the time of Taurus. So honestly, what that's saying is that maybe the Moses thing happened, and we have to look at our Bible timeline. It happened during Aries, or maybe at the beginning of Pisces is what you might think it implies, but people probably don't realize that Pisces is the New Testament, not the Old Testament. All right. I didn't want to talk about this subject all day long. Let's keep moving forward. I started to use Google Earth as I started to try to give people tours around the Richat structure. And I also started to discover lines such as this at the bottom of a floodplain under thousands of feet of sand. I started to question what was going on here. This is the time of Atlantis, or maybe slightly after. Are these walls? What are they? Are they canals? Well, this crisscross has become very significant in my life because it seems like we always have this crisscross showing in the maps. Now, the tumuli, I've talked about these enough. I'm not going to get into them. But the thing I'm trying to say is it's kind of hard to tell how old things are. When I'm looking at this, I think, wow, that's got to be 1,000 years old. No, it's actually this prison closed when I was born. And it was built not much longer than that. So this building was only there for 100 years. This fort, That I don't know, but it's probably only 100 or 200 years old. Yeah, see? Okay, I take it back. I'm as old as this because I was born before 1969. So I was wrong when I said 100 years old. It's barely 50-something years old. So you can't always see from going up. Yes, we need to also take into account that Google Earth changes things. I have to thank Anthony for keeping me focused. I think the best thing is to record everything. That's a kite. I didn't take that picture. These are the guys that created the New Testament. When we talk about when did Moses, the flood, and Moses was before or after the flood? He was after the flood, right? So the Genesis flood was about here, according to this video. They were just comparing Gilgamesh and Genesis, but that's the flood they're talking about. I think, this video is called Noah's Ark is Plagiarized. Here's how we know. So I got two different videos here. Oh, no, it's the same video. Sorry. Anyways, let me keep moving here. I think what we've come to understand is there was a flood, and it probably happened 12,000 years ago. And maybe different parts of the world had different floods, but this ice sheet melted, and there was actually two ice sheets, not one. Randall Carlson does extensive commentary on this. If you're very interested in this, I recommend you watch his videos. I'm not really caring about the flood. Randall Carlson thinks that this chart here proves that the stuff happened. Well, I can't remember what his statement was, so I'm going to keep moving. I can talk about Africa with mainstream history a little bit. According to mainstream history, 200,000 years ago, humans did not populate the earth. This is using the Ollie By History of the World video, which I rely on because I'm quite visual. It does show humanity starting in Africa. Of course, propagating the out of Africa philosophy. That is it a philosophy? Is it a dogma? Is it something people have been using to suppress us? I don't know. But we now believe that this is not true at all because we know that in the Philippines, people were found that were 300,000 years old. Even in the middle of Africa, because everybody's looking at Atlantis. When did Atlantis get destroyed? 12,000 years ago. According to Plato and according to the younger Dryas boundary, 12,000 years ago is when a bunch of cataclysms happened. But 68,000 years ago, we had a Sangoan culture here. Now, this is important for me because I'm doing a lot of looking at South Africa right now. This so-called Sangoan culture lasted it started 70,000 BC and lasted for about 50,000 years. And then it disappeared. 18,000, when you see the water levels change. As you can see here, you have, if you look at Sumer, you can see that this still has a land, and you can see that over here. You can see it everywhere. Now, Africa, I believe, changed a little too, but they don't show it here, but I can show it in another video. I can demonstrate how that would have changed. It's not a lot. It's just a bunch here. I guess I can show it in Google Earth. It's pretty easy to see. And you can see where Doggerland was. Up here you can see Doggerland was still part of the mainland. Up there you can still see it's still connected. But the next time when it disappeared for sure. 10,000 BC is not when that changed. It changed about 17,000. But what I'm trying to show here is the next culture just after the whole Atlantis debacle. And when I say that, I'm saying this area was cataclysmized. 10,000 years, we start to see this culture, and it's pronounced Ibero-Mauritians. They lived here, and then over here there was the Captain. Over there, this whole area is what we know as the Berber Peninsula. You can see it there, Berber and Arab. But this is actually, I don't like this map. I want to move that. It is going on 9,000 BC. We see that doesn't change. We see something changing here called the Afro-Asiatic Neolithic. And that's when they claim people expanded from this area into Berber and other areas. That happened in 9,000 BC. Then 6,000 BC, it changed from Capson and Ibero-Maurasian culture to the Berber culture. And that happened 6,000 BC. Then about 4410, what happened next? Oh, we see, I think we're looking over here. I don't know what we're looking at right now. Over in North America, I guess. Or something that happened here. Sumer exists now. Can't remember why that was an important one. What just changed? What's changing? Oh, I think we're looking here at the way the Afro-Asiatic Neolithic spreading is occurring. And that's 33. And then here it all disappears. And it becomes basically Egypt. But before it's Egypt, it's this area here called... I forgot. It's called... I'm going to open the big map. It's not that. Okay, so here we can still see the Berbers, and Africa is pretty empty this whole time. Then we have this thing called Sao that emerges. I think that there must be like a little city there. In 200 BCE, Sao continues. The Garamantes appear. Oh, I'm sorry. There's some other changes. Berbers last until... Okay, I know what I did. I'm showing you that the Berbers lasted until 3280, and then they changed in 42. I don't know. I didn't show you very well. Syphax came in here. Soon it's going to be Rome. Rome is going to invade this whole area. Right now it hasn't yet. Now it has. And now we see the word that says it's almost Mauritania. I can't read it, but I think this is where they got the word Mauritania from, if I'm not wrong. Now, a person who contacted me showed me these are the cultures, the Berber cultures they call it, and each one has their different flag, and they have this symbol on it. That's important for later. The guy who contacted me, Mustafa, wrote a book, and he uses that same symbol in his icon for his Facebook. And he told me this book was about Atlantis and how the Amazigh civilization is what sprang out from it. So the Amazigh, he claims, was where this was Atlantis, and he claims that. Now this symbol here is kind of interesting. I have a reason why I'm curious about the symbol, which I'll show you later. I asked him what that symbol was, and he says it's called the Aza or the Yaz. He says it was a petroglyph that has been used for thousands of years. Is it older than Atlantis? That would be an interesting question for me. He says it's used to represent a woman giving birth. It also shows the flag. He mentions a lot of history. I kind of lost contact with him. He shows that it's inside the alphabet. It's the Z. I'm actually more interested in this one. Is that the one he uses? Yeah, I think so. No, see, his doesn't have that. So I'm more interested in this one. So this is the connection I'm questioning and making here. So he gave me some information. He says, as you can see in Mauritania, there are 3 Zanaga Berbers called Iznagan. So, I mean, we need to learn this stuff, don't we? But this is before this is after Atlantis was gone, right? So I don't know how important it is for the whole story, but I want you to know that it's important to me. It's important to learn this. And why is it important to me? Who is Stig? See, I was going to tell this to whoever is willing to watch my video now, but I think if you watch my channel, you know a little bit about me. This guy, oh my God, who's that fat guy? This is from Randall Carlson's and Uncharted X's video, and when I heard what he had to say about this picture and I look at this, I realize that he's right. But I do have an education, and in addition to my business education, I actually did go to junior college. I graduated from junior college in the desert, but I also went to 2 other junior colleges before I even declared a major, and I was taking all sorts of classes. I had so many credits. I also was in the military and learned Chinese. And then later on, I went back and I got an MBA from Monterey Institute. So I'm quite proud of my qualifications. I wasn't a spy, but they did teach me Chinese, and my job needed, I don't have my job. I was a signal analyst. So I was an analyst. I got an MBA, and then I came to Taiwan. I wanted to be a university lecturer. That's why I went home and got my MBA. It's because I said I need to go home and get a master's degree so I can come back to Taiwan and teach in the universities. Well, at the time, wow, I got some, I just realized that I'll probably be clipping that out. Yep. What else is here? There's a lot of information. These are where I worked. I worked at all these places. I worked for, my first job was, where was that other? Oh yeah, Signworks. There it is. No, not Signworks. It's not here. Paint Bucket. I think I worked at Lord Charlie's first, and then I worked at the Paint Bucket. Paint Bucket's not here. There's a lot of jobs that aren't here. My education jobs are not here. I did write a marketing book for my classes and created all these videos. I did a lot of stuff. These are all my teaching jobs. I worked at all these schools. And I created a program about the secrets of spoken English. Do you know Sonny Bono? He used to be the mayor of Palm Springs. I was in London, and that's me in Hong Kong. I probably will never go there again. And that's me graduating. No, that's not my girlfriend. She's just a friend. And here's me in the military, and I graduated from the Defense Language Institute in Monterey. And then I said, I'm going to be an artist. I still want to be an artist. If you want to check out my art, check out Stig Art. I think I have another, or Art by Stig. That's it. Art by Stig. That's a Bukowski. I painted my office. That's my computer. And I'm also a carpenter. I love working with wood. My friends had this problem in their kitchen. It was a crappy ass duct that went down to the neighbors. And I helped them replace that with a nice piece of cabinetry. And see that had to go through, so it had to be manipulated just right through there. I had to get creative. It's over there on the right. I'm quite proud of it. And I also took a lot of pictures, and I love taking pictures. But now taking a picture is not an art anymore. It's like a necessity. So I took my pictures, and I like to take my pictures and paint pictures of my pictures. Okay, I wrote a book that's not pornography. It's not sex tourism. It's just about living in Taipei during SARS. Is that relevant? Last time I tried to sell this book, people told me it's a passé topic, man. Nobody thinks about that anymore. Nobody cares about SARS anymore. Ho ho, guess what? Well, COVID's back, baby. SARS is COVID. So I wrote a book about COVID 17 years ago, and then I wrote another book called The Oils of Alberta. You can buy those right now. The ebooks are at getsferrari.com, but if you really want to get a copy, send me some money, and I'll send you actual copies. But it has to be a lot of money because I'm really busy these days. Yeah, but I'll take some money for the ones that I've got in my hand that I printed. I've also got a hard cover of this one, and then I've also got the ebook online. The Kindle edition is free, so if you do Kindle, then go pick it up. Okay, that's the books, and I was going to do a third book. That's actually kind of old now. I had a book show. I like playing chess. I like playing poker. I do have some wallets. If you want to play poker and you want to give me some money, you can put them in my poker wallets. I also have a regular wallet. If it's a lot of money, don't put it in my poker wallets. Put it in my other wallet. Tell me in advance. It's in the description below. This is actually near my house. I'm 100 miles away from that. That's Yonaguni. And I think that Yonaguni was once connected with this land bridge here, and Dulan was a previous connection to Yonaguni. And I went there and I took these pictures. That's in Taiwan. As you can see, Taiwan used to be in, this is 200,000 years ago, but it also goes to about 20. They used to be connected to the mainland. Now, they don't show that little piece here, but I believe that if you look at Google Earth, you can clearly see that that was also connected. You can see it right there. You can see it over here around. I mean, I know they put a shadow around Taiwan, but don't think for a second that that means that it's not That's not a cavern right there. Okay, Robert Schoch actually did go and check this out with Graham Hancock, and he originally said that it was not natural, but then he came back a few days later and told Graham Hancock that he was sorry to say, because Graham Hancock learned how to dive to go around the structure. Graham Hancock has dived all around this structure. Has dove? Dive. Dove. Dived. He has, not him, but maybe he also dived, but Graham Hancock dived all around the structure. He learned how to dive with his wife, and they took pictures. And Graham Hancock thought this was completely man-made from some previous... this is underwater, if you don't know. It's underwater now. But then Robert Schoch did come back and say it's partially man-made. So some of it's natural, and they kind of disagree. He's the geologist. There's also another one, right? That's up in the Baltic Sea. The Baltic Sea has this thing underwater. It's right there. If you can see Sweden and Finland go up into this Baltic Sea area, right before it gets up into that second part, it's right there. So it's another example of civilization that is now underwater. And of course, everybody knows that the Clovis first theory has been blown out of the water. According to mainstream history, Clovis was the first civilization to spring up in North America 11,000 years ago. But now we know that's BS. There were so many other cultures. Now, did they still cross a land bridge to get there? Well, maybe some of them did. However, at this time, especially 22,000 and 24,000 years ago, I believe they were maritime civilizations. We had henges, and we had mounds, and even truncated pyramids in the North America, and even now being found in Brazil. This circle octagon, these are henges in Ohio that no longer exist, using sacred geometry and sacred numbers. There's another one. This one was in Newark. And there's another one. Oh, that's Stonehenge. I don't think I have any more. This is from Randall Carlson's Geocosmic Rex channel. You can check out this one. There's so many more. This truncated pyramid follows the same, what Randall Carlson taught me is a squared rectangle, just like found in Angkor Wat. And that's sacred geometry. Why am I looking at this? Oh, yeah, because I was going to tell you that Africa probably had this line as their previous antediluvian shoreline. You can see it. They're pretty steep over there, so it didn't go very far. Not like here, which now, well, as you can see, that's Doggerland. It's the ocean now, but that lighter color of blue represents where that previous continental shelf existed. And down in the corner, it's red. You can see it more clearly over there. We also now know that the pyramids were the center mass of the entire global set of continents, and it was most likely a previous 0-degree meridian. That's why the pyramid's there. Now, I don't want to talk about the pyramid now, but I do want to mention that this Nilotic meridian contains quite a bit of stuff going all the way down. And this is what I'm looking at nowadays. So I am down there looking around, although I didn't quite see any pyramids, but I do believe that they are suppressing locations because it took me a while to find Adam's calendar. But here, if you look at this, and this is the Piri-Reis map, which shows attributes of the world that nobody could have known about because it was pre-Columbus, and you can see some interesting river features here in this map of Africa. But the main point I'm trying to make now is that this is actually an aspect of what it would look like. Now, this is torn away, so we don't see Europe here, do we? Do you think that the map still went over? I do. But what we do know is that if you follow these lines, Egypt would have been the prime meridian at the time. The Greenwich meridian is only about 150 years old. So I have to take that for account when people mention that. I wanted to say, when they say 31 degrees, and when he puts Elohim at 31, I don't quite agree with this, because take away the 31 degree part. As far as the Nilotic meridian, yes, I do agree. But as far as it being 31 degrees, in 1884 it was 31 degrees. But it wasn't 31 degrees before that. Well, it was perhaps I don't know when the Anunnaki or the Sumerians or whoever it was wrote about Elohim. I don't even know what Elohim means right now. I thought that was something else. So this number 31 comes from England. So I don't really agree with this having a true connection, because the prime meridian was not that old. So this is Randall Carlson talking about the Richat. I don't know why this slide is here, but one of the questions I have is, in his video, and look at the titles if you want reference, he gave an example of Megabrecha, and he claimed that people worked on this 150,000 years ago. Not sure where they got those numbers from. I actually am questioning this, and I want to see the paper, because I'm sure he's referring to a scientific paper. And when he does, he's a professional. So I need this. If anybody can give me this information, let me know what scientific paper that's from. Yes, I did searches. So not sure what this is all about. Thank you for your comments up till now. Let me just, R. Hammond, if you're still here. Yeah, until someone does a match give, we can't really do much. Well, R. Hammond, one thing I do disagree is I do believe that stuff was destroyed by an asteroid. And that I'll demonstrate my theories later on that, but I don't believe it's buried lower. I believe that it was all washed away. It was all broken up and washed away. We can talk more about that later. I promise I won't forget it. Now, he does this right here is where I believe the asteroid hit. And he said outcrops in the structure that were being quarried. Okay, so this is him talking about this. He says there was outcrops in this structure that were being quarried by somebody. He doesn't just say thousands of years ago. He said 150,000 years ago. I have to look at this. Now, this is another video he did talking about where he believes Atlantis is. I don't know why that's here. I argue with this because I believe what Plato said. There was a 2,000 by 3,000 stadia plain that it had canals every mile. It would have been about this big. It wouldn't fit in the middle of the Atlantic. When we look at the Atlantic, we see these striations and ancient stretch marks. So I don't really agree that there's any place. I mean, you could argue maybe it could have fit right there. But honestly, I think we would have seen some rubble. We would see some structure. Now, here you can see stuff, but you would see if a civilization collapsed on that. Some people are over here looking at something right here. I even show that. It's not there. It's right there. There's this grid, but it hasn't. I think that's not it. I think it's right there. But if you look at that grid, it's not even big enough to be a level plane. Now, I don't want to get into that too much. I think these canals could be that level plane as well, because these canals, you can't really see them. If you know where we are, this is Botswana, Namibia, Angola, and Zambia. They come together here. There's a little bit of a crossover. But if you know anything about this area, then you know that it's got these canals that are so straight. They're so straight. They go on from 500 miles down, going across. There was some flooding, but these canals can't be denied. And they certainly, when you mentioned that it's 10 stadia apart, each of these canals were, that's not really giving me what I'm talking about, but each of these canals are about a mile apart, and that's about at 10 stadia. Here we are back at the Richat. We can see those two megalithic sculptures or structures. We know that they've got antiquity value because they're marked on maps as antiquities. You can see the rows of these stones. I definitely want to get some pictures of those. One more thing is this is also an antiquity right next to the so-called castle, or it says unexplored structure. We've got this thing happening. It has changed quite a bit. Actually, I keep pointing at this. So what I think is now I've got another picture. It shows it right over here. It's another antiquity. So, was the Richat Atlantis? That's the next thing. How long have I been talking? Where is my thing? It says that I've been talking for exactly 1 hour. Awesome. Can we figure out what happened to my comments? Is that it? Send feedback. No, that's not it. Cancel. It was here, and I've had a little thing. It's not letting me do it. Anyways, so the comments, I see the comments in another window that I've opened. Thank you, Way Deep Inside, for saying that this interesting information. Now, the biggest argument here is, how can it be in the middle of the Sahara Desert? Well, two things. Number one, there was a river going right through here. A river, oh wait, the big part of the river was here, but that doesn't mean that there weren't other parts of the river and canals, which I've shown you. This, what we're looking at now, is the way the shorelines at the top of that structure look. I think it must have changed a little bit. I feel like if this was a concentric circle, this whole area would have been open. So I think that this whole area has changed in the last 12,000 years. I could be wrong about that, but look at it. If you look at this and you say, oh, here's the perfect circles, but this outer part, maybe there's so many maybes, right? So many maybes. One thing you need to know here is the heights. You can see that the yellow part was 1217, let's just say 1250. And the red parts was the peach. The orange red is 1480, so 1500, so 200 feet difference. Well, problem is we've got these shorelines up here, and where are they located? 2,000 feet higher. So the difference between 1250 and 1500 and the very top is a matter of 500 feet. So as it is, these would have been submerged. They would not have been above water. I believe that we're simply just seeing the scoured foundation of anything that could have been there before. And the blue, these are the lakes, what's left of the ancient lake that existed. You can see the shorelines on the north side. I believe this whole thing was considered an island because you could sail a boat around it and come over here and then come down probably a river or a canal and enter into. And I know there were other canals. You can see canals that lead up towards this direction from down south. Was this another shoreline and the ocean came up to here? If you believe that Africa was changed in its land when the ice sheets on the North Pole started to redistribute water around the sphere, that it also created a change in the outer shell of the earth itself, and that Africa's land levels could have been changed. That's one thing. I'm not there. I can't even fathom or calculate this. All right, where are we in my slideshow? As you can see, I'm not going to get very far. We're at slide number 149. By the tab that's right here, I'm about almost halfway through. So with this in mind, this is the teaser. I'm going to change the title. I'm going to change the thumbnail to show that this is part one of at least two parts. And the next part is the knowledge of the survivors. We're going to talk about that next. But I've talked for an hour and I'm going to take that break now. I'll tell you what, keep the views coming and maybe I'll even do part two in an hour. I don't care about that. What I care about is just resting for a short time. And I don't want to just do a break here. I think that would be kind of cheesy. Nope. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two parts. And we're going to see the total number of slides is 387. So we're not even, where was I? What is this one? This is slide number 151. This is slide number 150. So we're almost halfway through. We're about halfway through this presentation. Not quite, but definitely going to continue talking about this. I don't want to just take a break right now. I want to end the video, and I'm going to do part 2. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll stop here. Thank you, Same Wager. Thanks for the comment. I do see your comment, and I welcome you to quickly write any question you have. I just had some weird stuff happen, so I think I don't mind starting over again. I'll also be happy to share this slide once I'm finished. I'll be happy to share this, but right now I'm not going to share it. So I'm not going to give anybody... Wait. Change to anyone with a link. Right. I'm not going to do that yet. I might do it later after I've shown it all. Obviously, right? I don't want to just give it all away. So thank you, Same Wager. And I will end this now. Nobody has a question. Let me just take a quick look and thank the people who have commented. Caesarillion commented right at the beginning, and Crackshot mentioned I was having problems with the chat. I'm probably going to go delete that part of my video later because it was so frustrating. But I did have to open a new window to see my chats. This is the other window I opened so I could see those chats, because I wasn't seeing them in the YouTube studio. The YouTube studio, the chats disappeared. All right. Anyway, so the point is that Caesarillion gave us a few. He said, it's the culture, seafaring, and diet, slimming, and calendar festivals that fascinate me. We're talking about Atlantis or the Richat. And then Ultra Picture Studios said maybe the buildings are turned into rubble. As I mentioned, I believe that they were built on top of a foundation that was washed away. Orichalcum. Is that spelled correctly? It is one of the walls that had to have been washed away. The artists of Atlantis, yes, and the biochemistry. And my mother claimed to understand stuff like that. My mother was totally into this. But, you know, I have to be honest, words like this, I have to reread the Plato to find out where he's pulling that from. Or maybe he was looking at... I mean, yeah, it's all very interesting. Until someone goes there and does a massive dig, nothing much can be tacked onto the story. Somewhere 30 foot down from the surface is evidence. Okay, I think it's kind of the other way around. I think that things were washed away. I think it's the only answer. But we can talk more about that later in part 2. Way deep inside, it's a matter of time. Can you imagine being a direct bloodline descendant of an ancient king and not even knowing about it? I find this information to be fascinating. Thank you. Yeah, and actually, I think what you can do is you can look at, when you talk about blood, you can look at RH negative. RHN? Okay, I don't know how to say it, but it seems like that bloodline did end up in Spain, in the middle of Spain. Okay, that's it. We're finished. Let's talk again soon. I'm going to do part 2 soon. I've got a lot of free time on my hands. I might even do it later tonight. Thank you. Oh, look at that. I got a thumbs down. Beautiful. Beautiful. I got 2 thumbs up. I just got an extra thumb up. Thank you, whoever gave me that thumbs up. Thank you, whoever gave me that thumbs down. I love it. I love it. Okay. And by the way, I might even take away thumbs up, thumbs down for my future channel. If you don't know, I started a new channel. The new channel is here. Please subscribe ASAP. And I'll show you the channel one last time before I disconnect. It's here. It's got a few videos already, so you can watch them. I'm already doing some on South Africa, but the previous ones are all on the Richat structure. So I do have a couple more things to say about the Richat structure on this channel, obviously. But this is really a channel about prehistory, not just the Richat. I know it says, was this Atlantis? And it's looking at the Richat. However, I already believe that Atlantis was the whole world. The culture called Atlantis that was attacking Athens or attacking Troy or whichever. That wasn't Troy, right? That was a different story. But that Atlantis, no, I believe that they were the ones... I believe they were basically kind of hanging out on North Africa. As far as their concentric circles go, well, I think that was the Richat structure. Okay, we'll talk more soon. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I'll probably do the part 2 within 12 hours. Bye-bye.